today. You know, sometimes when students come to Butler, they ask us where the church is. And actually this morning, there are some people from St. Thomas Aquinas who support us with coffee and donuts this morning, and they're just 6 blocks away. And I want you to know about that church. But here on campus, there is no church, no tabernacle. Or is that really true? It's true we don't have a building. But Paul reminded us this morning in the second reading that we are the dwelling place. We are the temple. So where is the church at Butler? I'm looking at it this morning. One day a Butler student said to me, "You are the God reminder on campus." Now that's pretty awesome, if not idealistic, and I don't always measure up to that, believe me. But we are all God reminders. We are the church at Butler. So welcome to this church at Butler, the Butler Catholic community. If you are a conservative Catholic, welcome. If you are a liberal Catholic, welcome. If you are a Catholic who does not know what kind of Catholic you are, welcome. If you have lots of questions and doubts, welcome. If you are on the fence about your faith, welcome. There is room for everybody here in the Butler Catholic community. So today you do leave home as Jesus did, although he was a little too young at the time, so he did go home. But what I want to ask you this morning is why are you leaving home? You know, why are your parents letting you, or perhaps why are they pushing you out the door? David White is a poet, and he wrote a poem called Song of the Salmon. And he imagines a young salmon in the river finding the urge to swim in the ocean. And he says at the end of that poem, he says, "Now I have spoken of that great sea, the ocean of longing shifts through me. The blessed inner star of navigation moves in the dark sky above, and I am ready like the young salmon to leave his river, blessed with hunger, for a great journey on the drawing tide." And so may you, and I think you are, already blessed with that hunger for a great journey. A hunger for life, a hunger for wisdom, a hunger for meaningful conversations about life. The first reading said, "I called on God and wisdom was given to me." And so, again, I hope that you will be as hungry for God as you are for the career that you have come here to pursue. Be hungry for wisdom. At Butler, you're going to be given a lot of information, perhaps sometimes too much information. But wisdom is more than information. Wisdom is understanding how to live your life in light of your relationship with God. Wisdom is living in harmonious ways that are real and loving and compassionate. Most of you will work hard at Butler. I know that David does. I know that Ann does. I know that all the other people that are here this morning that's part of our leadership team work very hard. But the real hard work of life is the work of living and loving well, the work of faith. And for that kind of work, we need the grace of God and the support of each other. Last week, I returned from a week-long canoe trip. Brendan, surprised that I mentioned that. In Canada. And my canoe partner was my godson, who's a sophomore at Indiana University. He's a young man who's struggling with what he believes, or even whether he believes. We had several meaningful conversations. He led me at one point to talk about what I believe, and I told him what I have sometimes say in homilies here, that Christ has opened my life to much more life and love than would have happened otherwise. I went on to say that Christ has one simple command, love, that he taught us by his own life to care about others, and that the bottom line for all Christians is kindness and compassion. I talked about Christ helping us to get out of ourselves, which can always be a struggle, to be concerned about something besides me. A struggle for which, again, we need a life of prayer and worship, and plenty of opportunities for meaningful conversations that lead to the wisdom of life. One thing he said to me was, right now what I'm trying to do is to be the best human being I can be, even though I know I have a long way to go. He said that without arrogance. He said it as a young man searching for who he is and the meaning of life, where he belongs, and for what shall he give his life. I asked a minute ago, why are you leaving home? May God give you the grace to be young men and women who search for the meaning of life, search for your place in the world, search for the purpose and significance of your life. And may Christ be that inner star of navigation. The Butler Catholic community is a place where we help each other find Christ in his temple, wherever that is. It's a place where we learn from each other, help each other to grow up, a place where we support and reverence each other in our jagged journeys, where we can recover from our mistakes, where we are able to pray together, where we are able to have meaningful conversations and not just the same old surface, where we are able to experience a relationship with Jesus. That's the church I believe in. You know, I know a lot of people are bored by church. You may already be bored this morning. To tell you the truth, sometimes I get bored myself. And sometimes that's the church's fault, sometimes that's my fault, sometimes that's your fault. It's my belief that the church ought to be a place that guides us from the journey out of the river into the adventurous ocean of life. Perhaps that's a little too lofty, a little too ideal. I certainly am not talking about life in Disneyland. That's just an aquarium, not an ocean. This adventure is real life, and the adventure will be filled with mistakes and occasional trouble. The adventure has struggles, and there will be days when you will want to quit, just like David said. The adventure will lead you to days in which you choose the easy way, the convenient way, only to find that you have walked down the wrong road. But the realities of life and your leaving home is part of who we are as the church at Butler. A church that exists apart from the realities of your everyday life is a dead church. I'd like to repeat that, because it's the only way we can make the church an adventure. If the church exists apart from the daily realities of our lives, all the ups and downs and all the things that go along with college life, it's a dead church. Because Jesus has risen back into real life, our lives as they are lived every day, with all the good and bad that happens. Our purpose here is to be able to find Christ, the Christ that we occasionally lose, to find him in the many temples that are here at Butler, and in the many occasions where Christ continues to haunt and seek us. So may we hunger for this Christ like a young salmon, longing to leave the river that is his home, so that he may swim in the great ocean of life. We believe